Hi. You know what Friday means?
Come on, man. Go for it, dude.
It's Friday! Friday! Friday!
Yes, it is Friday. John here, you there. Thanks for coming by for SDH AM. We got a lot of stuff to get into. Obviously, we have to preview everything going on in and around the planet. We got MLS previews and juice boxes. We got the Premier League juice boxes to get into, all the things. And we'll look at Atlanta United 2 yesterday. We'll lay out the scenarios for MLS NEXT PRO and let you know what happened there. We've got highlights and standings, and it's messy. But 103 kick, 12:30 pregame Sunday from Fort Finley. We'll have the call for you, the twos, and the reverse fixture with Chattanooga FC. We figure out the twos right now on the cusp of the 8th seed. Basically, they need a win and some help. We'll get into the win and the help coming up in just a little bit. But no dilly, no dally zone, because we got a lot of USMNT, USYNT. We got different age groups and all the things going on. So that means we bring in Bart Keeler and find out what is on Bart's mind, because we've had rosters named, we got teams playing, and we got dudes from Atlanta United who are doing stuff. Friday, Bart, what is up?
Well, John, it's also WVU game day. We're not talking about that because that happens at 10:30 tonight. And I was up late this last night for a Taylor Swift album drop. I'm going to be up late to watch the Mountaineers play football. One of those will probably give me joy.
Yes, and we may discuss the topic that broke at midnight, and we may get into that at the end of your segment. So
Right.
you've been forewarned. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll the highlight. And for those that might have missed what has been going on with the U20s, it's been a very successful / fruitful time. And we even had a link yesterday in a big win over France. France!
Dropping into midfield position. Dropping forward here for the USA, and they've got it behind that French defence. It's a goal!
Dude who got that assist, by the way, was Luke Brennan. That was not quite announced on the world feed, courtesy of our friends at FS2. And you got to give the Chilean DJ a little credit on the PA for going, mid-2010s with the celebration music there? Big win
that was
for the U20s, man.
First off, we do need to talk Luke Brennan because we didn't score until he came on the field. So I think that, obviously those two are correlated. I think that's how statistics work or whatever.
Yes.
But huge,
that's
massive.
Sir.
Right. That, John, I tweeted this yesterday. I don't care where you're playing, what the competition is, who's on the field. Anytime a U.S. team beats France, it's a massive win. Men, women, doesn't matter, right? But if you're talking about this win, this has got to be one of the biggest wins we've had. Now, obviously, we had, oh, goodness, John, I got to do math here. 3,
can't help you,
I think, editions of this tournament ago, we beat France in a knockout round, which, fantastic. But, I think that felt like a fluke. This game, however, was the opposite. This U.S. team was in control the entire match. They were better than France for most of the match. And 3 goals to the good, I think, signifies how great they were. It took them a while, John. It did take them a while to finally get into really good positions. But they had, before they got the goal that Luke Brennan assisted on, we need to, again, mention that, France was starting to get, it felt like, oh crap, it's slipping away. It felt a little Alabama, Georgia for a second there.
Whoa.
And sorry. It came after, though, a period of, okay, well, the US was putting things together and causing some havoc and having control. And then all of a sudden France just almost flipped the switch and said, hey, we're France. And then they started controlling the match a lot more, creating a heck of a lot of chances inside our box, and it was feeling a little nervy. And then all of a sudden, Luke Brennan gets released down the right side and gets the cross in, and Xavier Gozo just kind of gently heads it home, and we're up 1-0, and it felt really good. And then it just, kept coming after that. But those 3 goals were, I think, indicative of how much the U.S. outplayed France the rest of the match, if that makes any sense. Because I think they had a very good, again, control. They were in control of themselves. They were in control of the match. They were in control of the tempo of the match. And those things were really important. And we haven't seen a team look that in control in a very long time. I mean, look, the New Caledonia game is,
That's
you know,
the rock that's the rock that the Waves beat themselves up against
right.
every time they come to shore in this group stage.
And the fact that you did put up 9 against them, and people are going to talk about that second half, I don't care. I think you're up 7-0 at halftime. You know what's happening. It was, we knew that this match was the important match. But this match being the important match kind of meant like, hey, don't lose, right? Because, and I mean, like that was what the preview was. Don't lose this match, because we know that the top 3, John, go through to the next round. You knew you had the easy one first. The New Caledonia game, the win plus the scoreline, basically guaranteed that you were going to finish as one of the top 4 third place teams, right? I think you kind of said, okay, we're good. This match, I mean, basically now guarantees, especially with the scoreline. I mean, you're what? Oh gosh, plus 11 in the standings on goal difference. John, you're winning the group. That's huge. Even without what happens against South Africa on Sunday. And that is massive. Now, we could talk about what that means in the long run. I don't know. Again, these are youth tournaments. We're just happy to see them playing good soccer. But right now, the fact that you have basically secured the group, not just advancement, which you have, but you've basically secured that you're winning the group after 2 matches because you beat France, that's huge.
Gozo has a goal and an assist. It's 3 goals in 7 minutes. Gozo from Brennan, Brooklyn Reigns from Gozo, and then Marcos Zambrano unassisted at 90+2.
Brooklyn Reigns, man, that second goal was sneaky good.
Yes, it was. Your summary on the day: 13 shots to 2 for the U.S. 7 shots on target. Both of the France shots were on target. 6 saves on the day for them for France. 9 corners, 8 of them to the U.S. 15 fouls, 8 to France, 7 to the U.S. 1 offside on each, and there was the 1 yellow in the 66th minute from the all Uruguayan crew. So you look at this one. Your notes here as provided to us by our friends at U.S. Soccer. USA now has 9 different goal scorers through 2 matches at the U20, setting a new team record for most goal scorers at the tournament. Previous record was 8 back in 23 in Argentina. 2-0-1, 3 all-time meetings with friends in the U20 World Cup. And Gozo, Reigns, and Zambrano each scored their first goals of the 2025 FIFA U20 World Cup. One change-ish, if you want to call it. I'll just say one as a block. Taha Haburn, Peyton Miller into the starting 11. That was the only change by Marko Mitrovic in this match. So it's just two subs from match number 1 come in as starters in match number 2. So that's where we are.
Which is always kind of the question with these U tournaments, John, because there seems to be a lot of squad rotation for a little bit of obvious reasons. But I wasn't sure how. I mean, I think the group that started against New Caledonia, for the most part, you went, yeah, that's probably your best 11. The fact that he rolled it out again, I think, is a good sign. I think that means he feels very confident with these guys. Now, again, when we see that Sunday against South Africa, when, again, you're plus 11 goal differential, plus 3 points over France, who now is in a negative goal differential, by the way, that we'll see, right? Who knows what that lineup will be? You may rest a few guys, given that you're basically secured to win the group. But this has been, I think we were all a little, I don't want to say concerned, unsure of how good this team could be. Because we talked about it when the roster came out. All of these players are good players, but there aren't, like previous U20 World Cup specifically have kind of had a couple guys on the teams where you go, that dude, right? And I don't think you have that dude
Yeah.
on this team. Now, I think Benha Kramashki is becoming that dude,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's Brooklyn Reigns has got that dog in him. But I think it's more of a testament of the fact that, I mean, you mentioned Taha Habrun, right? Plays for Columbus Crew pretty regularly. Nico Shakaris
Mm-hmm.
starts right for San Jose. Peyton Miller, who started this game, a pretty pivotal piece of the New England Revolution team.
Yeah,
Luke
that
Brennan,
tends to
obviously. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like Luke Brennan is a great example. We like Luke here in Atlanta, but I think we all understand that he's a good player. We like him.
mm-hmm.
I don't think he has proven yet that he is a next level star. But
But how much
with
of
the
that
team,
comes to the number of minutes that he's been given?
well, and that's the thing is
You get into the chicken and egg argument here. Which is it? Is the lack of minutes?
exactly.
So,
But you're right, and that's the thing that I'm looking at with these guys is that they're a lot of just flat out professionals, right? They're just professionals, and I think that mindset, having just a bunch of guys who have played a lot of pro minutes this year, right? I think that's a pretty darn good thing to have. And again, while I don't think that I don't think Luke Brennan, again, I don't think he's oh my gosh, he's going to be a league leader in goals, right? But he's been pretty good for Atlanta United.
mm-hmm.
He's been pretty good again, obviously he's the catalyst because he comes on and we score 3 goals.
I mean,
But like, it's just a lot of that. And I think that's kind of been the fun thing with this team is, they're pretty good.
mm-hmm. U17s are going to be practicing and doing toe touchies and drills for Gonzalo Segaresh down at McCurry Park next week. And the U17 names were released before this will be the last grouping before he selects his final 21-player roster for the U17 World Cup this November in Qatar. Keepers, Court Camp, McKay, and Stokes from Sporting RSL Academy and Red Bulls. Defenders, Christopher Cups from the Fire, Jordan Griffin from the Union Academy, Pedro Guimaraes from Orange County, Ramiz Hamuda from the Legion, Micah Harris from the Dynamo Academy, Enrique Martinez from the Galaxy Academy, Adrian Sanders, LAFC, Gio Villa at RSL, Maximo Carrizo, who has been a pain in the ass for anybody that has played NYCFC since he's been there since 15, Luca Moisa, Cooper Sanchez is probably the name that a lot of folks would be drifting toward here in our footprint. Cristiano Oliveira, Kevin Sullivan for the Union, Jude Terry, Mateo Shakiris with the Galaxy, Chase Adams with Crew, Nimfasha Berkimas, who we've seen with Charlotte FC and Crown Legacy, Julian Hall, Jameer Johnson, Red Bulls and Union, Kellen LeBlanc from the Union too, and Tanner Rossborough from Red Bulls. So that group's going to be down in Fayetteville next week as everybody gets ready for Qatar.
A couple of shout outs there. First off, Cooper Sanchez making it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fort Camp, likely your starter. I think he kind of has impressed a little bit, at least me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Kellen LeBlanc, just shout out because Marlon LeBlanc was the former head coach at WVU for the men's soccer team. So I'm just going to shout him out because Marlon is a great guy. And he left Atlanta United to move to Philadelphia full time to make sure his kid could do stuff like this. So shout out to him. Anyway, it's cool that these guys are practicing in our backyard, John. I think that just is still that feeling is still new and it's still fun.
Now we go to the first team and still missing a couple of players due to injury. Johnny Dest, Pepe, Tyler Adams also missing camp due to personal reasons. I believe it is because of the addition to the family for Tyler Adams. One new face being brought in.
We're on baby watch for sure. He's on baby watch, but yeah, we're all on baby watch. Baby number 2 for Tyler and his I think now wife, if I got that correct.
And Mauricio Pochettino brings in one new face in quotation marks. It's James Sands, started 5 straight for St. Pauli in the Bundesliga. First call up under Pochettino, first appearance in a camp since the 23 Gold Cup. 14 players who were a part of the Gold Cup squad: Brady, Freeze, Turner, Arfston, Freeman, McKenzie, Ream, Richards, Miles Robinson, Brendan Aronson, Tillman, Luna, Ajimang Haji Wright. And now, with the squad that has been named in full. You've got a couple of names in there. You've got Aiden Morris coming over from Middlesbrough. Christian Roldan gets a back-to-back call-up. You've got Tanner Tessman from Lyon. Then you have Valerian Balogun, Christian Pulisic. I think we've heard of him. Tim Weah and Alex Zendejas from Club America. What do you think about this group of 24?
Well, first off, John, glad we have 26 players
26, yes.
total,
Thanks.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
I think that I've been saying it. Why are we limiting ourselves? I think the 4 goalkeepers is an interesting pick, John. I think that's almost a signal. Now we will see. I think we have seen that Pochettino prefers Matt Freese. We'll see now that Matt Turner is back playing a lot more for New England. He looked all right against us, and I think we'll see maybe a battle for number 1. And I'm interested. Schulte, I think he got hurt or something with Columbus, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of injuries lately, John.
Mhm.
He got hurt. I think Freeze had a concussion.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the goalkeepers actually look like. But this is still the position battle, right? They're like an actual position battle. Who's starting come next June? We don't know yet. So this is interesting to look at, right? I think again, Matt Freeze kind of the leader of the pack, but I mean, if the dude's concussed, I can't imagine he's going to be playing soccer. That certainly, I don't think he'll be playing a whole lot. So that is interesting. Now, you move up the field. We're still trying to see if anyone other than Tim Ream can start next to Chris Richards. I think Richards has cemented himself as the guy in the back line for this U.S. national team. I think if you're asking me personally, I would like to see Chris Richards be captain. I think he's ready for it. Give some love to some of the guys from the South. I think he deserves it. He has been a leader. You can kind of just see on the field. I thought he was a leader during that Gold Cup run. He's been phenomenal for Crystal Palace. I think stats will show that he's one of the best positionally sound defenders in the league and all these kind of things. I don't know. I mean, we need to just kind of lean into that. Personally, that's my thought. Obviously, you mentioned no Serginho Dest.
Yeah.
That's still he's hurt, but he's like not hurt, if that makes any sense.
Well, but and you also if you are the club team attached to Serginho Dest, you don't want to jeopardize any future clubness for representing your country when you're not at 100%.
And I think Pochettino does give deference to the clubs, and I think it's right in this situation to say, look, the dude is coming off the ACL injury. He says he's been fine. I think he said he's been back for, I think now 6 months, which is great, but you don't need to push it, right? We're fine. It does give a guy like Alex Freeman another opportunity to see what he can do. We got a bot. Someone report the bot and get rid of him.
30 dirty. You're a dead man.
Yeah, get him. Get him,
Yeah,
John.
I am. I'm getting him.
But we are still looking to find who can start next to Chris Richards, and that's still the question. Now, I think Mark McKenzie has the tools to do it, but he's got to prove it. And that's something that Tim Ream does every time he steps out on the field, is he proves that he belongs on the field. And we're still trying to figure out who can prove that. Now, I am interested to see how much Jedi plays. He is back in the lineup. I don't know. He's been in and out of Fulham's lineups. He's been playing on and off. I am interested to see how much he'll actually play in this camp, but I think having him here is a good thing.
I got a couple of
midfielders. Sorry,
yeah.
I had to. Sorry, you got him.
You have to hydrate. I got him. So before we get to midfield, in between the sticks, is it safe to say that there will be a Major League Soccer goalkeeper starting for the United States in the cup that the entire world is chasing in 26?
Well, the only thing I'm a little disappointed by in this roster is no Diego Cocan. I thought that would have been a good, hey, Barca,
hey, yeah, we want him back.
Imagine a middle finger being stuck up in the air.
Oh man!
I didn't do it.
I know.
I said imagine. Because, bruh, that was rude what you did to us.
Rude. Rude.
I think Duncan. I think he's the future. You just watch him; he just stands out. But Chris Brady's darn good too. So, but yes, John, I think this points to the fact that we're going to have an MLS guy starting for the U.S. At the World Cup, which is I'm sure going to feed every single conspiracy theorist on USMNT Twitter.
Right. And no Joe Scally this time around either.
That's the big sign. That's the big tell. I think, especially without Serginho Dest here, no Joe Scally, I think, shows exactly where Mauricio Pochettino rates him. I don't think Joe Scally is a, oh my gosh, this dude is going to make us a better team. But I think he kind of prevents you from being a worse team. And that's something that Alex Freeman hasn't quite shown me yet. He's got a lot of potential, but he's not there yet, in my opinion. Interesting that Joe Scally was not called in. I think that is a big tell of his status with Pochettino and his status for next summer.
Midfield and forwards, what sticks in your head here? Even
Brendan Aronson is back, man.
Yeah, and you've got your two big guns up top in Pulisic and Balogun.
So first off, I think Brendan Aronson being back here is an interesting pick. I wasn't expecting that. So that's number one. But in the midfield also, we've been calling for Aiden Morris and James Sands. I think a lot of USMNT Twitter guys have said, hey, if we think they're better than Sebastian Berhalter. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. We'll find out. I think it's a little true. But we got Tessman, Sands, Morris, and then we added Roldan again. So that is interesting to see, especially with no Tyler Adams and no Johnny, our two like indefatigable those are your sixes. Those are your defensive midfielders. So there's opportunity for these guys to show out because you don't have Tyler Adams and you definitely don't have Johnny Cardoso. Both of those guys hurt. So that is going to be an actually interesting position battle we're going to be able to watch up close. And then up top, John, I think it's just great that we get Balogun and Pulisic together again. We saw the magic they created last window. I think you add Haji Wright into this mix, and that gives you just another look. I really do want to see what Haji can do in Pochettino's system because I think we see him play on the left wing for Coventry, but I think if he can be a second striker, kind of the way Pulisic plays the left wing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A little different, obviously, but that spacing, that can be really interesting too because he's a guy who stretches the field a whole lot.
All right, so I imagine that the Soccer for US Pedo Dinas is going to be discussing this in more full, to speak English very goodly, over the next couple of days.
More full talking.
More full talking.
We're going to hopefully record Monday or Tuesday, depending on when availability is, because as we have discovered, we don't like talking about the roster when it drops immediately, John, because hopefully... hopefully no changes. Yeah, hopefully no changes.
Yeah,
but,
you're right here. Just
But we'll discuss in full after the weekend.
No injuries.
Hopefully no changes. Yeah. Everyone stay safe. Bubble wrap, whatever you need to do.
Bubble wrap your eyes, people.
Keep it safe.
Yes, keep them safe. On a scale of 1 to 10, the new Taylor Swift album, where she mentions a lot about her situation where she is now engaged to a podcast host that she was recently a guest on their show. How would you rate said album, sir?
Shout out to the podcasters getting some love finally, I think it's a very good album, John. I don't think I'll say this, I don't think it delivered on the promise of banger, but there are several bangers on this album. And I'm glad that they will be added to the rotation of Taylor Swift bangers playlist that I have.
Yeah. So there's a banger and a wood reference in there somewhere. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, there's a couple of lots of literary references, John. I had to explain some of them to the boyfriend last night.
Oh, the SO didn't quite get him, huh?
Well, in his defense, he went to Catholic school, so he wasn't really paying attention.
Oh boy. Okay. So we will see you Monday with cards and calls. Do we have another U20 game that we have on the weekend?
I think it's Sunday, John, if I'm remembering correctly. The schedule is they play Sunday against South Africa, 4 p.m. on FS2, because they like me to get the free trial of Fubo because I don't have FS2 through my DirecTV streaming, even though I've asked multiple times. It's a
Oh, yeah.
family thing that we
And
gotta.
I've got it on the big 55,
Yeah.
so I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. As
I
always,
keep asking for it, but the
I know.
father keeps saying, "Oh, we'll get it," and I'm like, "No, you need to get it
Yes,
because we're
exactly.
on the family plan."
I mean, come on now.
I
As
know.
always, my friend, great to see you. Thanks for batting leadoff and breaking down everything with the U's, and we will catch up with you Monday for cards and calls and wrapping up the U20 group stage.
Yes, sir. And hey, enjoy the late night Sunday with Atlanta United.
Oh, well, I'm going to be at Fort Finley in Chattanooga, so my day
That's
starts
right, you
early with
will.
the twos. So as you enjoy your coffee, what's the mug?
Be kind,
Yes,
except to
absolutely.
Chattanooga.
Yes, and other folks as well, and like the French. So be well, my friend. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Hi,
There goes Bart Keeler, everybody. That's your breakdown of everything in the U's. It is U17s, and they're going to be at McCurry Park in Peachtree City. I don't know if it's closed door or not. I would imagine that it is. So, maybe hang out at the curb or something and see if you can grab Cooper Sanchez or something like that. I don't know what the practice schedule is. 6th through the 10th, they're down at McCurry Park, and they're getting ready for the final announcement of the 21 individual roster before they head to Qatar in November. So that's next week in Peachtree City as they get ready. U20s, they're already 2 to the good. And with the blowout, like Bart said, of New Caledonia and the big win yesterday, 3 goals in 7 minutes against France. That's where you are right now, heading into the end of the match, the end of the group stage, Sunday afternoon with South Africa. And like I said, we'll talk to Bart about that on Monday. We'll go into cards and calls with Bart on Monday as well. Okay, here's the rundown as far as I know. We got a lot of news to get into. Obviously, we got Premier League stuff to get into. We've got juice boxes to get into. We've got MLS to get into. We've got Atlanta United to get into. We have the twos to get into. We have your highlights from the 19 and a half minutes that was available to us yesterday, plus the shorted amount of stoppage time that was attached. So should have been probably 5, 6.5 with injury to Eldin Jakupovic and the time wasting, and full credit and shout out, by the way, to the academy athletes that were there yesterday. And if you got the chance to listen to it live on the network, it was an experience. I'll tell you that. It was an experience to get everything ramped up, amped up, ready to go. You had to be in 5th gear and, screw the transmission. You had to be ready to go out of the blocks when they had drop ball and a whistle at 70-30. And it was Atlanta United 2 and Chattanooga. We know what that means on a bunch of different fronts. This one, I think, just kind of added to the legacy of that particular rivalry. And you end up with 19 and a half minutes of just absolute craziness, and we'll get into the stats as a part of our coverage for the twos as well, but we'll get into that. Like I said, there's news out of the Premier League. There's Premier League juice boxes. There's the weekend watching, what to watch, where to watch, how to watch it. And like I said, with the U20s, FS1, FS2. But specifically, we'll get into what to watch and all the things. Let me cut your promos for you as we let you know what else is going on. You see me busting out the Marshall Islands today. The scarves are on order. Round number 2 of the scarves, they are on order, and we'll let you know when they are here. And you can pre-order through the website. The difference in this one is obviously our logo, because that's different than it was in the past. And so we've gone from the cursive to the block. And so that's what it looks like on the edges. That's the version 2.0 scarf. That's headed this way. And so you can order on the website, order all the gear from the Marshall Islands. Soccer Federation helps them out, keep the lights on, and pay some bills and keep the national team up and running as they prepare for their next round of friendlies. Hopefully less than a year's time. It's 11 months away would be the time that they would try and lock things down again, or more like 10 at this point, considering it was in August, was it? That or early September when they had their round robin tournament, the Outrigger Challenge Cup in Arkansas. So 11 months out. They're trying to get to that and continue to fund things and all that kind of stuff. So go to the Marshall Islands website, go to the store, buy the stuff, pre-order scarf number 2, and you can help them out and once again keep the lights on and all of that. Also, once again, go to Olive and York, get the jersey for everybody here at SDH. It's the Navy, and thanks to our friends at Kaiser Permanente across the front. We couldn't do anything here without Kaiser Permanente as our main sponsor across the board. You can get the Navy personalization either in white or in the double blue, the light blue, the Carolina blue, however you wish to phrase it. You can get that there. Consult with Alex and Abby to determine which one is best for you. Also, you go to Fanatis, ftz.co/soccer down here. You get to add a bunch of different leagues to your viewing. And let me see what's on Fanatis right now. What would be a failure? Oh, I'll tell you, not getting out of group. Not getting out of group for the U.S. That would be a failure next year. Next year as they chase after the cup that the entire world is desiring in their possession in 26. Not getting out of group. Not getting out of group would be a failure. You want to get out of group, and I think you want to win a game in the knockouts. You want to get to the round of 16. I think that would be a victory. And then if you win one, then the rest is gravy. But I think not getting out of group is failure. Not getting out of group. That's the big thing, I think, Bam. And I think that's the biggest thing to stare at. And thanks for dropping in this morning, by the way. I know that Bam is getting gassed up for LAFC and Atlanta United. And it's going to be interesting. I think Atlanta United obviously is going in, and you're seeing this juggernaut that has been going on with Heung-min Son and with Denny Bouanga, who have been active in the last 17 goals that LAFC have scored. And that just looks like they've been together for years. It really does. That's dangerous, massively dangerous. And Atlanta United is going to be going on the road. We'll get into the juice boxes in a bit. We'll get into refs in a bit. We'll get into all the things as we go. So here's what else is on the board when it comes to promos. Once again, you get Fanatis, you get Teisei. I was going to look and see what's going on right now. Teisei, which is in their morning show. It is Teisei. Right now they have the Premier Paddle Circuit, PADEL. It's not like paddle tennis like you and I would call it. It's not PADDLE, it's PADEL, and they're in Rotterdam, and they're in the quarterfinals. Liga 1 Max, Liga 1, BN, you get all the BNs, by the way. Teisei, Gold TV in English and Spanish with our friend Nino Torres, and you get Portugal, you get Uruguay, you get all of that added on Gold TV. You also get TVV. That is an added network that they have now put in. You also get all the BNs. You get Tigo Sports, Canal 4, CATV, all of those games. You get Argentina. You get a lot of the South American countries when it comes to their league play and their cup play. Sudamericana Libertadores, that's attached as well. And you also get the opportunity when there is World Cup qualifying, you can buy in and get the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers as an add-on through your friends at Fanatis. Also, go to Grady Baby Co. What you can do there is the soccer is just better in Atlanta gear, the red or the black. And you can get either the T-shirt or the sweatshirt. And you can, once again, help out middle school soccer programs attached to the Atlanta public school system with your purchases there. Golden Boss Soccer is just better in Atlanta. You might have seen Maddie wearing that in the reels promoting the matchup with the Twos yesterday. It is the SDH Network logo on one cuff. It is the Grady Baby logo on the other cuff. And once again, it is helping out our friends at the Atlanta public school system through their middle school soccer programs. That is Soccer for Good as a part of 25. Also on the board, you get the opportunity to make sure you can be a Fanatico. We ask you what you do for $10 a year. For $10 a year, you can be a Fanatico and be a part of the Fanatico network here at SDH. You get a lot of cool discounts from a lot of the breweries in the northern half of the state. There are another couple of things that you get. There's a discount at Tires Plus in one of their locations in Alpharetta. You get the opportunity to have a catering, your first event for a catering, believe it or not. You can get a discount there, and you end up with we got a new one, the Putt Shack in Midtown. They've been added. 20% off mini golf for any private event, and so you get to contact Scott Wheeler at Putt Shack and mention SDH on Howell Mill. 20% off mini golf for any private event. New, our friends at Putt Shack here in Midtown. Rev Coffee Roasters. You get the Moxie Hotel in Midtown. 20% off hotel food and beverage. A bunch of brewing places, Keys to Flavor Catering in Sugar Hill, 15% off your first catered event if you're a Fanatico there. Fido Midtown, O'Sullivan's, you get discounts off of gear and food and beer. Lloyd Soccer, Atlanta United Gear, Select United Gear at the Johns Creek location. Slow Pour Outrun, Tires Plus, Wild Leap, Dad's Garage, Chateau Arenal in El Castillo, San Ramon, Costa Rica. 10% off a booking. You're a Fanatico. You use a code, you get 10% off, and you can go hang out in Costa Rica. Battle and Brew also as well as part of it. Be a Fanatico. Once again, it helps out our Soccer for Good project here in 2025. Now, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that is going on. Oh, remember, Mondays at the Brew House, soccer over there. You can go and visit us. We'll be there from 8 to 10. We're live on the network. And for those that don't get to go to the Brew House, you can watch us virtually. And you get to see that Maddie joins us virtually sometimes. Jarrett joins us from Utah. And it's pretty much just wide open and discussing anything and everything going on. And when it comes to the world of soccer over there, we get into all the talking points there. Yesterday was Europa League and Conference League. And apparently now the Nottingham Forest fans have already had enough of Ange Postecoglou after they lose, and they want him sacked. So that's been fun for them, hadn't it? 3 matches in, they're kind of over it. 3 weeks away from the next Europa League stage, by the way. The results yesterday in Europa League, just to fuel the fire, it was Basel over Stuttgart as an underdog at home at a plus 242. Celta de Vigo over PAOK as a favorite. Porto over Red Star as a favorite. Aston Villa won on the road as a plus side favorite at Feyenoord. Ferencváros, big underdog on the road, beat Genk 1-0 at a plus 312. Lyon won at home over Salzburg. Dinamo Zagreb, a slight road favorite. They won at Maccabi Tel Aviv. Midtjylland, a plus 759. They won on the road at City Ground 3-2. Sturm Graz beat Rangers at home, and now everyone is crying for Russell Martin to get sacked. And that isn't going to stop anytime soon. But, of course, if you're a Celtic fan, you ain't got much to talk about either, considering that you lost at home to Braga at a plus 401. So just when you're sitting there thinking, yeah, ha, 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 not so fast, because both Rangers had the late game and lost. So Celtic was trying to come up with the vibe and the anger attached from their matchup, and they pushed it onto Rangers, and Rangers lost on the road in the 3 o'clock matchup yesterday. Lille, an underdog on the road at Roma, 1-1-0. Bologna, Freiburg, a 1-1 draw. Braun over Utrecht as a favorite at home, 1-0. We mentioned Braga. Young Boys, a slight road favorite, won at FCSB 2-0. Fenerbahce, a minus side favorite, won at home. Real Betis beat Ludogorets Razgrad as a big favorite on the road. Galway Eagles, they were a big underdog on the road. They won at Panathinaikos 2-1, and Victoria Pilsen over Malmo 3-0 at home. So then that gets us to Conference League, and you had – where did it go? Where did it go? Did it just disappear on me? Europa League, Europa Conference League, where is it? England. You disappeared on me. It's like you sit there and it's like, where is it? All right, so let me see if I can cheat the system here and see if I can come up with where it is. Let me see if that's the one. So if I do that, Conference League, okay. Results, okay. So Conference League. Yesterday was a league phase, and there was a boatload of games. Shakhtar won on the road at Aberdeen 3-2. There was great laughter. Larnaca beat AZ Alkmaar as a home dog. Celje beat AEK Athens as a home dog. Fiorentina won big at home at a minus 400, 2-0. Samsunspor, a dog on the road, won at Legia Warsaw 1-0. Rakov Shostakova, big favorite at home, 1-2-0. Shelburne and Hacken at a plus 266. That was a draw. And we talked about Shelburne, by the way, on Soccer Over There back on Monday. Strasbourg won on the road, favored 2-1 over Slovan Bratislava. Sparta Prague won, big favorite at home. Crystal Palace won at Dynamo Kyiv. So keep an eye on that matchup where Crystal Palace is concerned when we talk about the juice boxes in the weekend in the Premier League. They won at a minus 233. Jagiellonia Bialystok won over Hamrun 1-0. Koops and Drita was a 1-1 draw. Lausanne won. Lech Poznan won. Noah beat Rijeka. Mainz beat Ammonia Nicosia at a minus 152. Raja Vallecano won 2-0. And Zrinjski beat Lincoln Red Imps from Gibraltar 5-0 at a minus 303. So that's your action that happened in the in-betweens in Europa and Europa Conference League yesterday. And that will get us out of the competitions until they come back in 3 weeks' time. Now, couple of things to look at when it comes to activity overseas. Thomas Tuchel denies a rift with Bellingham as he explained the England squad. If you follow Drew Dickinson on Twitter this morning, you get to see what's up with Drew as he kind of analyzes the announcement of Thomas Tuchel and the Three Lions. Bellingham coming off of a shoulder injury, not necessarily a surprise that he wasn't picked. And so obviously you deny that there is a rift there as he explained that squad coming through. Let's see. We mentioned the PSR rules yesterday. We mentioned all of the other stuff. Okay, so that takes care of one newspaper. On the board in, whoa. Okay, so an hour ago at the Times. So here's what Charlotte Dunker has written. We mentioned that Ange Postecoglou, he's not afraid of nothing. He doesn't care. He's failed to win any of his first 6. And Dunker is reporting at the Times, a negative performance and result could mean the club's hierarchy reviews his position during the international break. Pressure already building after 4 defeats and 2 draws, losing to Midtjylland, and the chance of you're getting sacked in the morning 23 days in. And so, of course, the Times has a poll. Should they sack Ange Postecoglou? Understood, Postecoglou obviously will take the team for the weekend game at St. James's Park. International break follows, giving the hierarchy time to reflect on the first month in charge. And remember, Carlos Corberán lasted only 11 matches at Olympiacos in 22. And Evangelos Marinakis owns that club. They have not won in league, meaning 4, since the opening day of the season. Understanding within the club that Postecoglou has not had much time on the training ground with his players since replacing Nuno. Forrester at home to Chelsea, first game back after the international break before hosting Porto in Europa League, and then an away trip to Bournemouth. The other thing that probably should be understood here is that when you switch from Nuno Espirito Santo to Ange Postecoglou, that is the definition of a 180. If you were to look in Webster's dictionary and go, what is a 180? Or you ask Siri, what is a 180? She would point at Nuno and Ange. And so with those two guys, Ange has Nuno's players, and they're used to Nuno's style. Somewhat defensive, counter programming, all that. Where Ange wants to go pedal down 5th gear, slam it, and go. Ange has a square peg, round hole situation with those players, and having to turn them around stylistically from what they're used to with Nuno to what Ange wants, it's going to take a little more than 23 days. I'm just saying. It's going to take a while. But why should patience ever be any kind of a virtue? Bam, it's good to see you. Glad you're here. And glad that you're a part of things. Bwanga and Son, both to get Hatties. And he's laughing on that one. Golf in 7 hours. Bam, enjoy. Please, absolutely enjoy. Fantastic that you've got that. Also on the board this morning. Let's see what else we have missed. We mentioned Spurs. Spurs not for sale. They say they're not for sale. Matt Law did a deep dive into Brooklyn Eric, the former DJ that is apparently fronting a consortium that can pay a world record price for Spurs. They're listing it at $4.5 billion, 4.5 billion pounds. So unequivocally rejected by Spurs. An informal expression of interest from Eric. The club labeled it unsolicited and unnecessary. And this is after Eric wanted to buy Maserati MSG Formula E, and that didn't happen. So now he documents his interest for Spurs on social media, according to Matt Law, that is breaching takeover panel rules. So that's a no-no. And it's now emerged that he's being advised by Peter Trembling, best known for his time at Notts County when they appointed Sven-Goran Eriksson as director of football. 12 reported investors have not been disclosed. Dan Gilbert confirmed, contrary to a claim made by a source to Telegraph, he is not part of that consortium. Eric has until 5 o'clock, 3 weeks from today. End of business. End of business 3 weeks from now to lay it all out, to announce a firm intention to bid, by which time an offer must be fully financed and committed. And apparently there are just as many folks that are confident in Eric and his bid and his backers as there are those that would sit there and go, no, bro, I ain't serious. So Telegraph and Matt Law went down the line to figure out how this came to be. Introduced to Spurs by Trembling, had a tour of the club's facilities arranged by Daniel Levy that the Lewis family, Vinay Venkatesham, and Peter Charrington knew nothing about. We mentioned how Eric mentioned that he was interested in social media, which is a no-no. Professed to hold preliminary interest in buying Crystal Palace, watched a game in March from the director's box. He's also attended Chelsea. Signed a contract to become Maserati MSG owner. Contract canceled after no money was transferred. Told Racing Insiders that Snoop Dogg, the DOGG, was a part of his bid to buy Maserati, but Snoop is not a part of the consortium he claims to be heading, which expressed an interest in Spurs. And so you basically have a 50-50 split of folks that are like, I'm thinking that he's serious, and then folks are like, I'm thinking not. Posted on social media, by the way, that Eric did, that when he took that tour of the facilities, took a picture, posted on the 280 back on August 6th, a fingers crossed emoji. And if you go on social media and you sit there and you breach takeover rules, the Prem kind of comes behind you and they're like, bruh, can you put that down? Can you stop that? Apparently what you do, that information should only be placed through official channels like the London Stock Exchange. Don't run your mouth on social media. ENIC, which is run by the Lewis family that owns 87% or 7/8 of Spurs. But because the remaining shares being publicly traded, they are subject to the UK takeover code. That means any expression of interest has to be lodged with the takeover panel, made public, and follow the regulatory body's rules. And so Matt Law did a deep dive. It has been claimed that Eric had hoped to include Dan Gilbert, worth a reported £21 billion, as a major backer. Gilbert came out with a statement to the Telegraph saying nope. It was longer than that, but Gilbert said no. Trembling, former executive chair at Knott's, who spent 8 months at the club before selling his majority shareholding for £1 to a consortium. So all of these things, they are 3 weeks away from Brooklyn Earring being either serious or not serious. And so the required reading of the day comes from that particular article. And so that's that would be what you are hunting for from Brooklyn Earring. And I don't know how it is I don't have any internet because you guys are seeing me fine. I don't know. Morning, David. Morning, Bam. And then Bam went to bed. We know that Bam went to bed. So the Brooklyn Earring thing to pay attention to when it comes to Spurs and his interest. Once again, 3 weeks. Keep an eye on it and go from there. Eddie Howe wants Elliot Anderson back at Newcastle. There's a story about Granit Xhaka turning Sunderland into the team that they are so far this morning. I'm sitting here and trying to see if there's anything else that I may have missed when it comes to the Telegraph, and I think we can put the Telegraph to bed. The Guardian, by the way, in addition to the article that said that we talked about, that Ange is going to be reviewed at the international break, the Guardian is saying the Forest have no plans to sack Postecoglou. Of course, if you don't have plans, what is it? The Russians don't go 10-200 without a plan. Trust me, they're plans. There are absolute plans. When it comes to FIFA, by the way, World Cup ticket resales have started. FIFA takes 15% fees on each sale. Bushnell and Crafton over at the Athletic. Buyers and sellers are getting popped 15% for the 2026 World Cup ticket resale platform, which launched yesterday. Immediately, tickets listed for tens of thousands of dollars. Many prices several times or even more than 10, higher than what they paid on the primary market on Wednesday. So the flipping has already started. At past World Cups, by the way, FIFA capped resale prices at face and took smaller fees, 10% or less. For this one, FIFA chose not to cap resale prices because if FIFA did, a FIFA official argued, he said they couldn't stop sellers from going to third-party sites like StubHub to fetch more money. In Mexico, FIFA agreed to limit prices to face value on a ticket exchange platform. What FIFA wouldn't say at the time was what the cut was when all of this was announced. We now know it's 15% coming and going. So as an example given by Bushnell, if you sell a ticket for $1,000, seller gets $850, FIFA takes $150, buyer pays $1150, including another $150 to FIFA, in addition to the other $150 and the $850 to the seller. So FIFA is basically getting 30% on every 100 in resale. Coming and going. 30%. FIFA, 15 inbound, 15 outbound. 30%. Similar to StubHub, SeatGeek, and other U.S.-based companies. Panina Feldman at UVA says it's standard. Good thing to do because it regulates the number of transactions on the secondary market. I'm not so sure. You had the Visa pre-sale lottery. 4.5 million fans entered that. First day of official resales, a Cat 3 group stage ticket listed by a holder for $15,000. Some listings offered standard tickets for more than current prices. Cat 4 for the opener at SoFi, which cost $560 on the primary market, listed for almost $3,000. Cat 4 ticket to the final, which is nosebleeds, 400 level, end zone corner, listed at $25,000, having gone for $2,030. FIFA would take $7,500 in fees if that gets sold. 30% to $25,000. FIFA, $7,500 on the board. So 15% inbound, 15% outbound. Thanks for coming by. London's going to host the inaugural 2026 FIFA Women's Champions Cup. Jeff Kassouf had that come out yesterday in his storylines. Arsenal is Europe's rep. Played between January 28th and February 1st at a venue to be determined. 2 semis, a third place, and a final. Winners of the UEFA Women's Champions League, the new CONCACAF Champions League, and the Women's Copa Libertadores automatically qualify for the semis. Winners of the CAF, AFC, and Oceania competitions play each other in 2 rounds of knockouts in order to reach what FIFA dubbed the Final Four stage. NWSL, represented by Gotham, pushed host of the inaugural FIFA Women's Champions Cup. Multiple sources confirmed to Kassouf that Arsenal's league schedule became the driving force in London hosting the FIFA event. Chelsea host Arsenal in a league match with title implications on the 25th of January, 3 days before the tournament is supposed to start. Originally planned to debut in 26, now launching in 28, the Club World Cup on the women's side, and that was initially put forth as an idea by Gianni Infantino back in May of 21, but now it's going to take place in 28 every 4 years from there. So 28, 32, 36, 40, etc. First edition, UEFA gets 5 places in the 16-team group stage. CAF, CONMEBOL, AFCON, CONCACAF get 2. Oceania has no direct qualifier. 6 clubs representing the AFC, the CAF, CONCACAF, CONMEBOL, Oceania, and UEFA take part in the play-in stage, subject to change as the competition develops after the 28. That's the Women's Club World Cup. No host or time period has yet to be agreed to. So that's your tour of everything else going on in and around. Anything and everything going on with fancy tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So that's what you're staring at with all of that. Coming up on hour number 2, once again, we'll go into Major League Soccer. We'll find out what's going on there. We'll go through all of your juice boxes, all your previews. We'll get into MLS Next Pro, recap what happened with the twos yesterday, and we'll go through all of that stuff as well. We'll go into the Premier League, get a juice boxes there. We'll let you know who's in the middle for the matchups in Major League Soccer and what to expect when it comes to these officials and who is in, who is out, and who is not. So that's hour number 2, plus anything else that's on your mind this morning as we roll into match day 38 in Major League Soccer, plus all the things. That's the official term. So it's been a really wild week, especially in MLS Next Pro. MLS Next Pro in match day last, coming up decision day. Once again, everything is happening in MLS Next Pro, Eastern Conference, 1 o'clock. So 103 kicks And everything's going to have to be massively coordinated. Excuse me. So everything massively coordinated for 103, Western Conference 403. And like I said, we have juice boxes. When we get into our coverage of MLS Next Pro, then we'll get into that for you, and we'll lay it all out and go, here's what the deal is. Here's your numbers. Here's your spacing. Here's what happens. And this is literally, we have to take it a team at a time because of all the different permutations. We'll go through everything with Atlanta United 2, but the bottom line is Atlanta United 2 needs a win and some help when it comes to all of that particular activity. You got to win in Chattanooga after what happened yesterday. And like I said, we'll recap that in a bit. Then what you end up with is the 2s chasing the 8 spot. You're looking for some help with another couple of matchups. And like I said, we'll go through the schedule. We'll lay out the differences. And we'll lay out who you need to root for if you're an Atlanta United 2 fan, hoping that the 2s can get a win in Chattanooga and get into the playoff discussion north of the playoff bar, which is right now 38 points. Had a matchup on the week, which was FC Cincinnati 2 and Red Bulls 2. Red Bulls 2 and Philadelphia Union 2. They're at the top of the ladder right now. And they're both at 55 points. Red Bulls 2 really could have done themselves a solid by getting a result at Northern Kentucky University. They did not. FC Cincinnati 2 gets the win. FC Cincinnati 2 goes over Atlanta United 2. They're in 9th right now. Like I said, we'll go over all of these permutations coming up in just a bit. So Major League Soccer coming up this weekend. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on there. We got juice boxes coming up in a sec. We'll look at all of the different matchups, and we'll go, okay, here's what we look at here, here's what we look at here, and here's what we look at here. You've got 2 matchups that start at 2:40, by the way. 2 afternoon games at 2:30. Then you've got the 4:30, and then you end up with all of your 7:30s. You've got 4 at 7:30. You've got a couple at 8:30. You've got 4 at 8:30. You have 1 at 9:30. You've got 1 at 10:30, and then you have 2 on Sunday. And then once again, remember, teams have the option of playing during an international window. Messi and friends, to make up matchups, they are playing this weekend, and they are next weekend, and they're playing they're playing Atlanta United next weekend. So after this, you get a handful of matches. You do have some in the midweek even, as LAFC has to catch up on matches played. And so that's where you are with Major League Soccer. So you've got all these matchups on Saturday, 2 on Sunday to get you into the international window. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, LAFC plays Toronto FC. And we'll get into that as we go further down the line. All right, let's get you into juice boxes. And we'll get you into your ref assignments and the questions that we have coming into this week when it comes to Major League Soccer. We'll go into standings and we'll break all that stuff down. Eastern Conference is locked in with the teams. We just don't know the where. And then we'll get into the Western Conference too. 2:40 kicks, CF Montreal and Nashville. Nashville favored at Stade Saputo, but remember what Nashville did in the midweek. What is that lineup going to look like? That's probably the biggest question. Going to Stade Saputo at a -104. Draws a +282. CF Montreal's a +243. DC United hosting Charlotte, also a 2:40 kick. Charlotte a slight road favorite at a +150. Draws a +256, and DC United is a +159. 4:30, FC Dallas and LAG. FC Dallas favored at a -133 because, remember, LAG was in Campeones Cup against Toluca and went to the bitter end before losing at 90+4 in a back-and-forth game. So you had all of that happening with LAG this week. They're a road dog at a +295 on the average and the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal, and your draw is a +320. Then your 7:30s. Messi and friends hosting the Revs, and they've got some work to do because of what happened in the midweek when they laid an egg. -250 at home at the Erector set against New England. Draws a +403. Composite for the Revs, a +541. Red Bulls in Cincinnati. Can Red Bulls be a spoiler here? 740 kick. In the Swamps of Jersey at a +121. Draws a +270. FC Cincinnati, a plus 193. Purple Team and Crew, keep an eye on this one at 740. Orlando City, a minus 104. Draws a plus 286. Crew is a plus 237. Union and NYC, keep an eye on this one. Union, a minus 114. Draw and NYC are both 277, plus 277. 840 kicks. Austin FC, favored at home, even though they were playing in the midweek. Austin FC is a minus 103, all caps, coming to town at a plus 242, and your draw is a plus 277. Chicago Fire and Toronto, 840. Chicago Fire, a minus 208, draws a plus 334. Toronto FC is a plus 515 on the road. And remember, Toronto FC, they're playing on Wednesday after they play on Saturday. And they have to go from Chicago to Los Angeles. So I doubt very seriously that they're coming back home. Pack 2 weeks worth of clothes. 840, Dynamo and San Diego FC. Houston favored at a plus 145. I find that interesting. Draws a plus 265. San Diego is a plus 161. Loons and Sporting Kansas City. Minnesota United, a minus 179. Draws a plus 361. Sporting is a plus 380. 940. RSL hosting the Rapids at a minus 135. Draws basically a plus 300. Rapids are a plus 315. 1040. Seattle and Portland. We talked to Nico Moreno yesterday, Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart about this one. Sounders really need a good Cascadia match. Seattle minus 159, draws a plus 317. Portland is a plus 366. Sunday, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. 6 Eastern, Vancouver hosting San Jose. Vancouver gets an extra day of rest after winning the Can Champ against their neighbors from Langley. BC, not Virginia. Minus 172. San Jose is a plus 330 in the draw, and they have just dropped in the composite as we're talking and promoting this match. They've dropped in the composite north of plus 400 to plus 398. LAFC and Atlanta United. Atlanta United was on the north end of plus 500. They are now on the south end of it in the composite. Draws a plus 393, and LAFC is a plus 227. So now, looking at these matchups, these are the questions that I would have going in. Nashville, what do they look like against Montreal after having won Open Cup in the midweek? How long did they celebrate, basically? And what do they look like in the rotated lineup? DC and Charlotte. Charlotte has an opportunity for a get-right game. Did they take advantage of it? FC Dallas and LAG. I think FC Dallas, once again, LAG playing in the midweek, in a tough matchup against Toluca. Can FC Dallas take advantage? Messi and friends, same thing. And you don't necessarily say that a lot about Messi and friends. But after what happened in the midweek against Chicago, down big early, coming back to tie it at 3, then losing 5-3, how do you respond? You need 3 points to keep the beat and try to chase after the 2 seed now in the Eastern Conference. And you get to do it against the Rebs. Red Bulls and Cincinnati, same basic thing. Red Bulls are not in the playoffs for the first time in, I think, 15 years. How do you respond to that playing Cincinnati? You're favored. Do you make it difficult for them, or do you just kind of sit there and go, yep, I think we're done? Yeah, I think we're done. Union and NYC. NYC definitely needs points here, but they're going up against Philly. Philly's trying to chase after the pie plate. They got to keep doing what they're doing when it comes to the supporter shield. So Philadelphia, you figure they're going to be on their best behavior. Purple Team and Crew, 2 teams within 2 points of each other. I think this is probably the match of the match week. So that's why I would be leaning draw in this one. I don't think a whole lot's going to be resolved at a plus 284 with 2 teams separated by 2 points. We'll get into standings in a second. All Caps played in the midweek. They were drained. Going up against All Caps. I'm thinking draw here because of all of the things that we know about Austin FC and their lack of offense in general. They did hit the post and the crossbar a couple times. Things might have been different. But Runner-up in Open Cup, how do you respond? At home against All Caps, I'm thinking draw. Fire in Toronto. Fire, once again, it's for positioning. Toronto's playing out the string. Dynamo favored at home. I find that interesting. San Diego FC, once again, needs points on the road. I'm leaning San Diego. And if things don't go well for Houston this season, they don't make the postseason, has been Olsen's career dissipation light in Houston at Hell in a Shell. Is that going to be questioned? Loons can take care of business against Sporting. They keep the beat. RSL in Colorado. One team south of the playoff bar, one team north of it, one team trying to get into the playoff discussion, one trying to stay. This might be a fun late game for you. Seattle and Portland, it's Cascadia. I don't think you have to say much more beyond that. Vancouver and San Jose take the over. I think that one at BC Place is going to be interesting for a bunch of different reasons. And obviously with Atlanta United and LAFC, with what Ronnie Dyla has said in past weeks, what the players have acknowledged in past weeks about what Ronnie Dyla has said, how does Atlanta respond to being in that cauldron this year at BMO? That's the larger question for me. How do you respond? You've got this matchup, then you have Messi and friends back-to-back weeks before wrapping up the season against DC United. How do you respond? How do you look? How do you respond? That, to me, is the larger element in all of this. So let's take a peek at the standings in Major League Soccer, let you know what's going on. And here's how things lay out. Philadelphia on top by 4 points, 32 matches played. And everybody's going to have 32 matches unless I say otherwise. Cincinnati 4 points back at 59. NYC is third currently, 17 wins at 56 points. Messi and friends match in hand at 56 points, one less win, better goal difference. Charlotte, group number 2, and this is a stacked group number 2, where the group number 2 actually can reach into group number 1 in the 1 through 4 if things go their way. Charlotte, 53 points, 17 wins. Nashville, 53 points, 16 wins, better goal difference. Orlando, the purple team at 52 points, 31 matches played. So in theory, they could be the 5 if they win and take advantage of that match in hand. Chicago at 51 points, Crew at 50. Everybody else is done. Red Bulls at 43, New England at 35, Toronto at 28, Montreal at 27, Atlanta at 27, 5 wins. DC United, 25 points, 5 wins. And Atlanta with the match in hand. So you look at the groups, literally you have 3 points separating 5 through 9 in the Eastern Conference. Charlotte, Nashville 53, Orlando 52, Chicago 51, Columbus 50. Your play-in game right now would be Columbus at Chicago. And then right now you'd get the chance to go play in Philly for the 1 versus the wild card. So you see how a lot of these matchups this weekend have meaning one way or the other. But you look at Orlando and Columbus, purple team in Columbus, 7 and 9, separated by 2 points. That's probably your matchup of the week. Western Conference, San Diego's at 57 points, and this is why I was confused about Houston, because the away form for San Diego FC, they're 10-4-1 away from home. Yes, they have stumbled as of late. San Diego at 32 matches played, 17 wins. Vancouver match in hand, 16 wins, 57 points. Loons at 55, LAFC at 53, 30 matches played. So that's why they're playing in the midweek. Seattle is in the chase group. So if, say, LAFC wins out, they're at 59 points. They have a chance to be the top seed, if nothing else happens around them. Thinking maximum case. Vancouver could be at 60 with the match in hand. LAFC could be at 59 with matches in hand. 1 through 4, they've separated. Seattle at 46 points, 31 matches. They are in. They're the last team that is in as of right now. Top 5 in, don't know the where. Austin at 44 points, 31 matches. Portland 44, 32 matches, 11 wins. Colorado at 40, San Jose at 38. Dallas was something to play for going up against LAG. They need it. Match in hand, 38 points, 9 wins. RSL, 37 points, 31 matches, 11 wins. Houston, Dynamo at 36 points, 32 matches played. So the get-in the West, 4 teams, 2 points. 4 teams and 2 points. Teams not participating in the postseason right now. All Caps at 28.7 wins. Kansas City at 27.7 wins. LAG match in hand 5-17-9. Scored 41, given up 62, 0-9-7 on the road this year. They're at 24 points. So that's Major League Soccer. Who's going to be in the middle? Who's doing what? Let's take a peek. DC and Charlotte, 2:30. Lorenzo Hernandez is the man in the middle. Corey Rockwell, Ricardo Ocampo, your ARs. Tori Penso is your 4th after her appearance in the middle in Open Cup in the midweek. Lucas Zapala and John Krill are upstairs. CF Montreal and Nashville at Stade Saputo. Fotis Bazakis, the man in the middle. Chris Wadham, Twain Anderson, your ARs. Pierre-Luc Lozier is your 4th. Armando Villarreal, Jonathan Johnson are upstairs. FCD and LAG. 440 kick, Sergi Boyko, the man in the middle. Adam Garner, Kevin Klinger, your ARs. Ricardo Montero Araya is your 4th. Kevin Stott and Tom Supple are upstairs. Stott and Supple have been paired a lot this season as a VAR and an AVAR. Messi and friends in the Revs. Ismail Elfath in the middle. That's a good choice. Corey Parker, Kyle Atkins, your ARs. Abdu Njai, who was the original man in the middle for the 69 or 70 and a half minutes for Atlanta United and Chattanooga FC. And Njai had some pretty good techer skills, by the way. He had some good juggling skills as he was juggling through the lake that was 5th third. Njai is your 4th. Caroline Chenard, Matthew Seam are upstairs. Red Bulls in Cincinnati. Alexis De Silva in the middle. Mike Nickerson, Brian Dunn, your ARs. Joshua Encarnacion is your 4th. Armando Villarreal and Jonathan Johnson are upstairs. So they are going from, they're doing the day-night doubleheader. They've got the 2:30 CF Montreal Nashville VAR, AVAR. And then they're doing Red Bulls in Cincinnati. Victor Rivas in the middle for the Purple Team and crew. Ryan Graves, Diego Blas, John Matto, your ARs in your 4th. Jorge Gonzalez and Tom Supple are upstairs. So Tom Supple is doing the daily double as the AVAR. Also on the board, Union and NYC. John Freeman, the man in the middle at Subaru Park. Liaz Arfa, Ben Regal, your ARs. Mohammed Hassan is your 4th. Edvin Jurasevich and Robert Schapp are upstairs. Austin FC in all caps. Ricardo Fierro, the man in the middle. Jason White, Kevin Locke, your ARs. Malik Badawi is your 4th. Soren Stoichka and Mark Allerton are upstairs. Chicago Fire, Toronto FC. Soldier Field, Timothy Ford, the man in the middle there for Fire in Toronto. Corey Richardson, Nick Uranga, your ARs. Izmir Pekmich is your 4th. Eunice Marakchi and Mike Kampmeinert are upstairs. Dynamo in San Diego, Drew Fisher in the middle at Helena Shell. Andrew Bigelow and Felicia Mariscal are your ARs. Guido Gonzalez Jr. is your 4th. Daniel Radford, Fabio Tovar are upstairs. Loons and Sporting, Natalie Simon in the middle. Jeremy Kiso, Ian McKay, your ARs. Sergei Demyanchuk is your 4th. Kevin Stott and John Krill are upstairs. RSL in the Rapids. Chris Penso is in the middle. Chris Elliott, Walt Heatherly, your ARs. Nabil Ben Salah, who was the man in the middle last time out for Atlanta United, is your 4th. J.C. Rivero, Joshua Patlak are upstairs. Cascadia, Seattle, and Portland. Rubiel Vasquez in the middle. Catherine Nesbitt, Megan Mullen, your ARs. Marcus de Oliveira is your 4th. Caroline Chenard and Robert Schapp are upstairs. Vancouver and San Jose on Sunday. Rosendo Mendoza is in the middle. Brooke Mayo, Jeffrey Greason, your ARs. Iwan Yakansky is your 4th. I think that is his first appearance this season. Ricardo Montero and Mark Allerton are upstairs. For LAFC and Atlanta United, Alan Chapman in the middle, Nick Balser, Stephen McGonigal are your ARs. Elihio Adegin is your fourth. Michael Radchuk, Fabio Tovar are upstairs. So let's take a peek at Alan Chapman's numbers this season, and we'll find out where he is in the pantheon of whistles and everything. Chapman is tied with Philip Dujic in the number of appearances in the middle this season in Major League Soccer. Fouls per game listed at 20.88. That is next to last in the league in fouls per match called. He is last when it comes to center refs who have more than a handful of matches. Legitimately, Alan Chapman next to last, period, at 20.88. Ismail Elfath only called 15 in his one appearance so far this season. But in bulk appearances, Alan Chapman is dead last. Fouls per game at 20.88. But in those 20.88 fouls per game average, the number of yellow cards that Alan Chapman gives per match is just over 3. 77 yellow cards in 24 matches. So he calls the least amount of fouls short of Ismail Elfath, who only called 15. So the least amount of fouls in Major League Soccer on average per match is Alan Chapman. He is 3, 6, 9, tied for 11th in the number of yellow cards issued. But then in yellows per game average, he is very, very low. Yellows per game average at 3.21. He is 35th out of 37 in yellows per game average. So next to last, but really last in fouls called. Second from last, 35th out of 37. Sorry, and next, So he is second from last, Alan Chapman. Jerry Marufo is below him, and Ismail Elfath in his one appearance obviously is below both of them. So next to last in yellows per match called, or least amount of yellows called. So next to last, least amount of yellows called. Second from the next to the bottom, 36 out of 37 is what I'm trying to say, John. So next to last in yellows per match, last in fouls called per match, but of those fouls that are called, 20.88, 3.21 of them are yellow cards. So 15%, 14.3, 15% of his fouls that are called are yellow cards. So he's not going to call a lot of fouls, but when he does, odds are you might get a card. And he has given two reds, by the way, in his 24 appearances. So doesn't call a lot of fouls, doesn't give a lot of reds, doesn't give a lot of yellows. So I think Alan Chapman's going to let you play. So that's what you're staring at with Alan Chapman in the middle for Atlanta United and LAFC coming up 9:10 Sunday night on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. So that is your Alan Chapman breakdown as you go looking at officials around Major League Soccer. Let me see really quickly if we've got our broadcast teams, because they always wait. It's like, I want to know who the broadcast teams are for this. Apparently, MLS TikTok and Season Pass announced Player Spotlight LAFC, so they're going to have a live stream on the TikToks starting at 9:10 Eastern Time. Now, if you missed it yesterday, the calendar is out for the 25-26 offseason roster build. Day before Thanksgiving, that is the club's deadline to exercise bona fide offers. Options and offers is Wednesday 26th at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, excluding conference final participants. And the league is not going to be the one that will give out the lists of names. It's going to be up to each individual club as to what they do. Wednesday the 10th through Saturday the 13th of December is the College Showcase in Mesa, Arizona. Free agency opens up on the 10th at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Thursday the 11th, reentry process stage 1, conducted in reverse order of finish. Eligible players, 22, minimum of 1 service year, not eligible for free agency. Out-of-contract player who's received a bona fide from his current club will not be eligible. MLS Cup presented by Audi gets the 30th pick. The champs get the 30th pick. List of players will be made available stage 1, Tuesday, December 9. End-of-year waivers closed Thursday at the end of business, Thursday, December the 11th. List of players once again released on Tuesday the 9th. Eligible selection are players who do not meet the minimum requirements for reentry or free agency. Wednesday the 17th, reentry stage 2. Same order as reentry stage 1. Not all unselected stage 1 players will be available for selection, as players may re-sign with previous clubs between stages or may opt out of the process. And then Thursday the 18th is your super draft, time and location TBD. So that's the checking to see if we have our broadcast crews yet. So MLS, no. So that's not the one. So we go here. And are they posted? Are they posted? Are they posted? The answer is no. Okay, so we do not have a posting of the broadcast crews this week. So follow along with your favorite announcers and find out where they are. All right, let's get into MLS Next Pro and let you know what's going on there. Now, Atlanta United 2, yesterday, clock had stopped at 70-40, I believe. And so at 70-40, Atlanta United had about 20 minutes plus added time to try and come up with an equalizer against Chattanooga FC to get ready for Decision Day on Sunday. We'll get into Decision Day combinations and permutations in a bit. For those of you that missed it, it was a unique environment. Couldn't thank the academy players enough for being as rowdy as they were and kind of got into the head of Eldin Jakupovic, the Chattanooga FC keeper. Got into his head a little bit. But Jakupovic came up big in the 20 minutes plus. And we'll find out where things stand when it comes to these two teams. Here's your highlights, courtesy of the SDH Network. It is Maddie and Jason on the call.
75th minute, Weesay down the right side, cutting in. Sliding challenge from behind. Weesay's into the 18. Gabriel Weesay, low shot. Jakupovic saved. Follow-up saved. Follow-up blocked from Neri. It's still alive for Weesay, top of the 18. Weesay can't get the shot off the second time. Majub out wide to Tablante. Jakupovic has stayed down. It'll be Atlanta reclaiming possession with a drop ball to Tablante. Edge of the attacking third as Jakupovic is down. The first shot from Weesay was blocked. The follow-up from Neri, or the first shot was saved by Jakupovic. The follow-up was blocked. Jakupovic coming out trying to scramble to it. He has stayed down since that. We're in the 76th minute, so stoppage time will be re-added to all of this. Over to the right, Weesay. Weesay's created space on the dribble. He's looking for it again. Cuts it on the left foot. Curls it in. Header. Big save, Jakupovic. Weah with a great header. Jakupovic got the right hand to it to keep it out. Corner Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, it's another corner. I mean, gosh, what a header, too. I mean, Jakupovic, again, really quick with the reaction, able to stop that one as it's a corner here on the near side.
Carmichael will hit the in-swinging corner right in front of us. Plays it forward. Carmichael. Looking for options. He's going to play it to Majub on the left side. Toto will dribble forward. Engages Ortiz. Out wide to Tablante. Moises, Armas, the 1-2. Moises cutting across to the arc, pulls the shot wide of the near post. Big save from Jakupovic as Weesay got him leaning, but he's able to get back to the near post. Eldin Jakupovic keeping Chattanooga in this one. It's 1-0 CFC. Corner Atlanta on the far side. Weesay delivers to the near post. It's headed to the back post. Majub brings it down off the underside of the bar and out. It's still alive for Atlanta. It deflects off of Weah, and it's out for a goal kick. Chattanooga. But Toto Majub brought that down and put it off the underside of the bar and out.
Oh, looks like we're getting 3 minutes of stoppage time.
3 minutes of stoppage time is criminal if that's the case.
From what we were told, the officials were alerted of what happened in the other match, too. It was up to them if they wanted to do
Atlanta. We say cut back off the end line to the back post. Headed down by Weah. Volleyed home. Save Jakupovic again. Volleyed by Nery. Masafero is up. Nery will head it forward. Still alive for Atlanta. Nery will head it to the left. To Blante. Edge of the 18. Crossed in. Diving header wide. Carmichael's header wide. Atlanta nearly turned it in again, and Jakupovic with another ridiculous save.
That was the theme, really, of the 20 minutes that we had at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground yesterday afternoon. Lunch with the twos. LD Jakupovic came up big. There is a reason that he is probably the best keeper in MLS NEXT PRO. Days like yesterday. Your rundown of your final stats after the 20 minutes were played. 27 shots for Atlanta United 2. 8 for Chattanooga FC. Shots on goal, 11-1. Translation, LD Jakupovic had 11 saves. 3 of them in the 20 minutes, and you heard just how crazy a couple of those saves had to be. Block shots, 8 in the match, 6 for Atlanta United 2. Total passes, CFC didn't care because they had a 1-0 lead. In that 20 minutes, it was all Atlanta United passing, short of the one outlet to try and go long and spring somebody on the counter for Chris Nugent and CFC. Passing accuracy, 88% for the twos, 77% for CFC. 9 corners in the match. All of them for Atlanta United 2. Total crosses, 18 in the match, 16 for Atlanta United 2. But like I said, most of this is because CFC had a 1-0 lead. They're trying to get out of town. 5 offsides in the 90 minutes full. 4 of them to CFC. John O'Ransom, no saves. Just the one shot was the difference. 8 clearances on the day, 7 for CFC. 27 fouls called, 14 for CFC. Atlanta United 2 with the other 13. 4 yellows for CFC compared to 2 for the twos. One of those was for Javi Armas after the fact. And Javi Armas let the man in the middle know about it. And the man in the middle was not a fan of Javi Armas letting him hear it. And so it ended up with John Rush, the 20-minute man in the middle, giving a later-than-late yellow after the match yellow card to Javi Armas. Austin Holt and Josh Lampkins were your ARs, and Denny Kalazanach was your 4th on the afternoon. 70-40 was when it started. And that's where we are after 90 minutes and an afternoon at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground. Open play pass percentage, basically 8 out of every 9 for Atlanta United 2, 79% for CFC. Set piece crosses, 2 out of 7 on average for Atlanta United 2, 3 out of 8 in open play cross percentage. So now, with that being the last match that needed to be squared away before decision day, we now know where everything is. We'll start in the Western Conference and work our way toward this particular part of the planet. St. Louis City 2, all caps 2. They've got all 3 letters next to their name. Playoffs, division title, and the number 1 conference seed. I didn't know that we still had divisions, but I guess we do, since we were thinking of conferences. So St. Louis City 2 won the Frontier by 14 points over Colorado Rapids 2. Red Bulls 2 and Philadelphia Union 2 still trying to figure out who's going to win the Northeast. The Town is going to win the Pacific. Rayon Monarchs are going to be second. And the Southeast is still going to come down to the last day with Chattanooga and Huntsville to win the division crown. You hit a tab and you finally remember that, oh, yeah, there actually are divisions here. I've just been so locked into conference that I forgot that there were divisions. So, Western Conference, here's how things are. All caps 10 points clear. They're the number 1 seed. The Town are the 2 seed. It's basically Earthquakes 2. And then the fun begins. Colorado Rapids 2, Real Monarchs are both at 48 points, but the Rapids have 2 more wins. That's your first tiebreaker in MLS Next Pro. If, at the end of the day, the Rapids and the Monarchs are even on points, it goes to the Rapids. Whatever the situation is, Rapids, same number of points with Real Monarchs, win the tiebreaker. Doesn't matter if Monarchs win on the decision day, that only gets them to 13, they're a win short. So in a tie situation, Rapids and Monarchs, Rapids win the tiebreaker. That would sort out your 3 and your 4. Whitecaps 2, 42 points, 11 wins. Loons and Ventura County, identical records, 2 goals, goal difference. The Loons are at +1. Ventura County is at -1. So you had to go to the second tiebreaker to take care of business right now with Minnesota United and Ventura County. If the two teams end up with, and I don't know how this would be possible, but if you ended up with the same number of goal difference and the same number of points, you would go to goals scored. Ventura County right now has an advantage of 6. North Texas is at 40 points right now. They are the 8. Los Verdos is at 38 points. Dynamo Dos is at 37. Timbers 2 at 35. They're out. Everybody else is out. Defiance at 33. LAFC at 33. Same record as Tacoma. Tacoma has a better goal difference. That would be the difference between 12th and 13th if it came down to that. And then Sporting Kansas City 2 with their horrendous start to the season. 17 points, 27 matches. 64 goals allowed. They've scored 29, 112, and 111 and 2 at home. 2, 7, and 4 on the road. Now to the Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference, Red Bulls 2, Philadelphia Union 2, both 1 match to go, 55 points. Red Bulls 2 have the tiebreaker if the points are equal because they have 2 more wins. So that's why if Red Bulls 2 had won in the midweek at Cincinnati, that would have helped out them with the title in the overall in the Eastern Conference and would have helped out Atlanta United too. More on that in a bit. Union 2, 55 points, 14 wins. They have a better goal difference, but they would have 1 less win. They would lose out on the tiebreaker immediately. Revs 2 at 51 points, 13 wins, same as Chattanooga. You go to goal difference, the Revs have a goal difference of 8. So, if you are Chattanooga, what can you do to improve your lot? If you match the Revs in points, if you both win, you're both at 54. No matter what you do, if you are tied with points with the Revs, you're locked in. Revs would be 3, Chattanooga would be 4. So Chattanooga on match day last with Atlanta United 2 visiting Fort Finley have to try and get a better result than the Revs. We'll get into matchups and juice boxes in a bit. Huntsville City Football Club, 13 wins, 49 points. So with their activity on decision day, they could be as high as the 3 if they get some cooperation from Atlanta United 2 and the opponent for the Revs. They could finish at 52 points. Then they would win, and it would be 14 wins. And then they would get the tiebreaker over the Revs and Chattanooga because if the Revs and Chattanooga only ended up getting 1 point, everybody's at 52. Huntsville has 1 more win. That would have gotten them to 14. So Huntsville could be the 3, the 4, or the 5 after decision day. But, as I sit here and play this out in my head, if the Fire win, they go to 49 points. They'd have 13 wins. Huntsville would still beat the Fire on goal difference. Right now, Huntsville's goal difference is 21, plus 21. There is right now a 10-goal difference from Huntsville to Chicago Fire 2. The matchup against Atlanta United 2 really hit the Fire hard in a couple of different categories. Couldn't catch up with the pack, and your goal difference took a hit. So Chicago Fire 2, if they were to match Huntsville with a win and Huntsville does nothing, Huntsville would have the tiebreaker unless the goal difference is made up. And the Chicago Fire 2 would have to beat the you-know-what out of their opponent to match that that minus 10 difference that they have to fight. And then they would have more goals scored, and that would be the way that they would be the 5. Now, that gets you 1 through 6. 1 through 6 are in. We just don't know the where. Core at 39 points, 8 wins. TFC 2, 38 points, 10 wins. They are in right now. FC Cincinnati 2, because they won in the midweek, they're at 38 points, 8 wins. They would have trouble in tiebreaker situations. Atlanta United 2, 9 wins, 37 points. A far better goal difference than Orlando City B, who are at 37 points, 9 wins, and a goal difference of minus 14. So Atlanta United 2, if they were to win against Chattanooga on the weekend, gets them to 40. Core would have to do no better than a PK loss, because if they get a PK win, that would put them at 41 points. TFC 2 would have to do 1 point better than Atlanta, because they have 10 wins. Atlanta would have 10 wins. And then TFC 2 would be at minus 7 in goal difference, and that would be a problem for TFC 2. So TFC 2 has to have 2 more points than Atlanta United 2. You get 1 more point than Atlanta United 2. Say if Atlanta wins, they're at 40. TFC 2 would get a shootout win. They would still be at 10 wins. Atlanta United 2 would have the tiebreaker over TFC. So, Core, 1 point. The 2s get the tiebreaker if they win. If Core goes to PKs and wins, then they would finish higher than Atlanta United 2. TFC needs 2 more points than Atlanta United 2. Actually, they need to win, because they would lose the tiebreaker if it was a PK shootout win, and they would still be at 10 wins. So TFC 2 needs a win to do better than Atlanta United 2. Then you have Orlando City B that's attached to the whole thing as well. And there's math. Jarrett joins us to wrap up a week, and we're trying to sort through the math with the 2s. And there's a lot of it, Jarrett.
Well, the simple answer is
Win.
the simple answer is beat Chattanooga the other day, although you had a goalkeeper standing on the damn head the entire time. So
Eldin Jakupovic, goodness gracious.
well, he stood on his head in the first 70 minutes too the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That was that was, I think he made like 11 saves in that game.
Yeah, total 11. Yeah, 11 total saves over the 90 minutes.
Like that was getting into Tim Howard territory, not in terms of like not comparing that to what Tim Howard did on the world stage,
right,
in the World Cup, but like man, that was insane. Like, yeah, you need to have a word with your defense, because your keeper shouldn't have to be making 11 saves.
Right.
Play that game again, 90 minutes, and I think Atlanta beats them.
Yeah, and I think they, at the very least, come out of it with a point and takes it to the extra 90 minutes, or the extra PKs. If you go the full 90, I think that Atlanta United gets the equalizer, because they were on the front foot for most of the match.
Yes. It does complicate it now, but Atlanta could end up in the 8th seed, not just the 9th seed.
Mm-hmm.
You got to win.
Damn man.
And look, SoFaBall has been a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to be careful with how we discuss this. This is not it's not meant as a shot to what Steve was doing with the first team. But yeah, man, it's what Silva has taken it to another level. If I don't know, man. Like if you win that late game, you just got to kind of let the bones fall where they do, and then figure it out from there.
Yep. And the way that we were working the math and everything, it is win and get some help. You know that's the case. Everything in the Eastern Conference starts at 1:00, and it is Atlanta at Chattanooga, Fire at Crew at lower.com. Doesn't really impact anything from an Atlanta United perspective. It impacts what Chicago Fire does at the end of their year. Core at Huntsville. You are rooting for Huntsville. You are rooting for Huntsville to take care of business at home. It's going to be a tough ask for Core going to Huntsville City Football Club, Wicks Family Field, and Joe Davis Stadium. That's a tough ask for Core. And so Atlanta United 2 fans, you are rooting for Huntsville City in that particular matchup. The Erector set has Revs 2 and Messi and Friends 2. That's just for positioning for the Revs. The other matchup you got to pay attention to, Red Bulls 2 hosting Toronto FC 2. And you are rooting for Red Bulls in this case because Red Bulls are chasing after the top seed in the East, and they are tied in points with Philadelphia Union 2, who play NYCFC 2 at Subaru Park. So you're looking at rooting for Red Bulls 2 to get a win. So TFC stays at their point total. You got to take care of business in Chattanooga. And then at the same time, once again, make sure that you're rooting for Huntsville City as they take on Core. And then FC Cincinnati 2, you are actually rooting for OCB to take care of business and make sure that that one goes longer than 90 minutes because then FC Cincinnati 2 gets bogged down in things. You want Orlando City B. So let me check this. So Orlando City B, FC Cincinnati 2. I'm doing damn math again. Okay, so Orlando City B is tied with Atlanta United at 37 points. FC Cincinnati 2 is at 38. If Atlanta wins, they're at 40. Orlando City B wins, they're at 40. Or Atlanta has the tiebreaker by 15 goals right now because they would have the same number of wins at 10. So Atlanta United 2 would have the tiebreaker over Orlando City B if they have the same number of points. FC Cincinnati 2, if they stay at 38, you hopscotch them and you win. So basically, that's the layout. You're rooting for Red Bulls, you're rooting for Huntsville City, and you want OCB to match you in points because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. You can match them on points. They can get less than you. Doesn't matter. You have the tiebreaker. You'd have the same number of wins at 10 if you both win, and you have goal difference, which is 15 better going into match day last. Good Christ, that's a lot of math. Whew, man, that is just...
This is exactly why we talk about, and it applies to MLS, but it's going to apply to Next Pro too. Any playoff system. That's what we talk about. You need to win your games early in the season, and you need to build up that gap between yourself and other teams who are going to be caught in the muck. Right now, you're caught in the muck. The first team was caught in the muck last year, and they got in through the chaos of decision day, with the goal being marked off by Orlando City, and then of course you get the beatdown of Miami in the playoffs, and that's great. But this is why we talk about you get out in front, so you don't have to deal with the muck and the mire of it all, because now Atlanta has to deal with the muck and the mire of it all.
Yes,
because they didn't do the job early in the season, and it's not just early season. They pulled some home draws that were tough. They've also had a game or two where they had a man advantage and they either lost it or did not outright win it, where they've had advantages and they have not taken advantage of them and punished teams. And this is, now you're looking at it thinking, well, look at all these points we left. Well, they were there for you to simplify your life. You are playing better now than you were then.
Yep.
You just got to get this across the line, get into the playoffs, and as any American sports fan will tell you, playoffs are a crapshoot, man. Like, you can talk about someone being the best team. We've watched way too many the best teams, trademark, get absolutely pasted in the first round of a playoff or the second round of a playoff. So don't sit here and worry about, well, what if we get in? We have to play the best team. Shit, you did that last year. First team did that. Took 2 out of 3 for Miami.
Well, and this is also, remember, pick your partner in MLS Next Pro.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know how the picker will feel. I wouldn't want anything to do with Atlanta right now.
No.
They're just they're because they're on a heater.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's look at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not want anything to do with them. I'm trying to see who around them. Like, I don't really want anything to do with Orlando either. Orlando is just cagey as hell, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean that in the most complimentary way I can say.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a shot at Orlando.
No.
They're tricksy.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, like I don't like at Chattanooga's fourth. I wouldn't want to deal with Chattanooga just because of what we saw between the pipes. Because how
Yeah.
often do we talk about it in hockey, John? That like
Yeah.
you get that one person, like, that one goalkeeper who gets hot
Yeah.
going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Shuttlesworth was that guy before he came to Atlanta, way back in the day.
Yeah.
In the ye olden days of MLS.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man, you just oh God, I forgot. We might get Huntsville, Chattanooga in the playoff, and that's they hate each other.
Yeah.
Talks about it
Well,
with Will,
and
but
that's
that's true hatred.
yeah, and that's if the top three teams, if Union, Revs, and Red Bulls, if they choose everybody else, Huntsville and Chattanooga would be stuck with each other.
Yeah. That's I kind of want everyone to do that. I kind of want everyone to be like, what if let's just leave them to their own devices.
Uh-huh. Get frozen
let them fight it
envelopes.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, let's just pick different teams together.
Mm-hmm. Collusion.
Yeah.
We're going to collude so those two get to
yeah.
play each other and beat the crap out of each other in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It just turns into like everybody else picks somebody else out. Like, let's let them kill each other because they might.
Yes. And
there might be a murder on the field.
Yes.
The peak would be if Huntsville calls the Chattanooga Red Wolves from East Ridge to have their fans come out.
Oh, man.
If you played it in Findlay, there's a non-zero chance that if Huntsville put the call out and there's not a game going on, Red Wolves fans would show up.
Yeah.
And like would be like, hey, you give us the Huntsville gear and we're good.
Mm-hmm.
I would pay money to see that.
Send a shipment of Huntsville gear to Red Wolves fans. Here, wear this and go into the stadium.
Yeah, like a FedEx box from Huntsville arrives in East Ridge. Put this on, be it Findlay.
Oh, that's great. And yeah, here's your ticket. Here's your gear. Go.
Yeah,
you've got that.
They might do it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. This is why playoffs are fun because you're in a situation now where 5 teams are fighting over 2 spots. Take care of your business. And you just kind of have to let the bones fall where they do.
Yep. First teams in Los Angeles and 17.
Yeah, I guess they are, aren't they?
Yeah, well, and it's 17 goal actions in a row for LAFC, where it has either been Yeon-min Son or it has been Denny Bouanga. And LAFC is charging up the charts. And if I'm anybody else in the West, I'm like, I don't want to play them.
I don't want to see them.
I'm looking at
no.
I mean, anybody right now, you're going into LA. It's a tough environment, the 32-52, and you're going up against this team that is in form, and I mean that in underlined, italicized, and bold-faced print. LAFC is in form right now.
Yeah, this is. It's funny though because it's like where the ball's going. Doesn't really matter, because they're just burning the house down. Yeah. That's been amazing to watch. The West playoff picture, by the way, is also stupid fun. What do we have? 2 games left? 3 games left? For everybody, 2 games?
Well, it depends. It's either you have for Atlanta, it is this one. It is Messi and Friends, and it is DC. Yeah. So
and that's it. So let me paint you the Western picture for you.
Sure.
So let's start with 8th place. Colorado's on 40 points. Colorado has 2 games left. San Jose has 2 games left. They're on 38 points. Like San Jose is in the last playoff spot right now by virtue of wins.
Mm-hmm.
Also on 38 points is FC Dallas. They have 1 fewer win, but they have 3 games left.
Mm-hmm.
On 37 points, right behind them is RSL, who have 3 games left.
Uh-huh.
A point behind them is Houston, who has 2 games left on 36 points.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's hopes are on life support.
Yes.
They need to win out and hope that other people spit the bit.
Yeah.
But you have 4 teams fighting for 2 spots, really 5 teams. But again, what's the rest of Houston's schedule look like? Houston has San Diego, Godspeed, and Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah.
And has San Diego's fallen off as the season's gone on a bit.
I think
like to the point Vancouver's right there with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like winning the West is also going to be really fun. If for no other reason, like LAFC is sitting at 53 points. San Diego's at 57. Vancouver's at 57. Minnesota's at 55. You have that West top seed is just smiling at you. But yeah, the bottom of the West, not the bottom. The bottom is the Galaxy and Sporting Kansas City. But the so like if Houston beats San Diego,
right?
I'm not counting on it.
They're favored.
If they do,
favored.
And if Colorado, San Jose, Houston, Dallas, and Real Salt Lake drop points, Houston ends things with Sporting Kansas City. If they get 6 points and they're sitting on 43 points, it's not impossible, but it's kind of like Atlanta last year. You need a lot of things to break your way. Yeah, the Western Conference playoff picture is actually a lot of fun. The Eastern Conference, less so. Just because everybody's dead and buried. Like the East, everybody knows what the East is at this point.
You know
they're fighting.
You know who's in. You just don't know the where.
Yeah, and the where will be interesting because, if for no other reason, Columbus is in at the last spot of the group with 50 points. The 3rd seed is 56 points, and that's New York City. Anywhere like so, it is theoretically possible for. Like this is going to be one where like this. I'd welcome Jason in sicko mode. Kind of like 2017, where like multiple teams changed places multiple times. So like I get that we can harp on Atlanta all day long till the cows come home.
Right.
And their mess, but there is for me personally, there is something like freeing about my team underachieved this year. What are you going to do about it? Sulk? Not really, because I can't do anything about it.
Right.
I'm going to move on with my day and go like this week. Like this week's great because I also don't have to watch Brian Kelly. I don't have to watch the Falcons. They're on a bye.
That's true.
It's great.
I could have used Tyler Algier this weekend at running back. I could have.
That's fine. I got Chuba Hubbard. I got to go replace him.
Yes, you did.
But like, the fact that Atlanta's out of it, like I can move on with my day. Like I don't have to worry. I can enjoy the playoffs for what they are, which is to say, 6 points separating 9 from 3, and over the next, and like Orlando has 2 games.
Orlando's got match in hand, and so does Messi.
So Messi and friends have match in hand. This could get really dumb with like the decision day in the East could be a lot of fun trying to figure out where everyone goes and who plays where. 2 of the ones to keep an eye on for me, Nashville won the cup this week. I'm still not happy about it. I'm not obligated to feel anything for Nashville. Like, another Southern team won a cup. Great. I don't give a shit.
No.
This is the same thing with like, do you cheer for the SEC? Hell no.
No.
God, no. I've never once said, you know what? It'd be cool if Bama or Auburn or
it'd be great if
Texas won that game for the SEC. No, I hope they lose. I hope they're sad. I was hoping Nashville would lose. I was hoping they would be sad. It's not personal to the Nashville people in my life, but like I'm not going to root for a rival just because I'm not there to play against them. Screw
Yeah.
that. And I would expect them to feel the same way and feel no animosity toward them about it. Them in Charlotte, I'm going to be interested in because Charlotte's been on the downswing. Charlotte got basically beaten with a lead pipe by Montreal last week.
Mm-hmm.
They'll also be missing 3 starters for this game coming up. And Charlotte has DC United, which
who does Nashville have? Who does Nashville have?
Oh Jesus.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, if you click on Nashville on Google, it has a little pop-up with fireworks talking about how they're US Open Cup champions.
Oh,
that's not
cute.
fun. I don't like that.
No.
No, it makes me sad. But it's because then they have Nashville has Montreal and Inter Miami. Inter Miami's gonna be fighting for spots. And Nashville had been on a kind of a rough patch over the last few months. Going back to when they lost to Atlanta at home. Charlotte's been so Jekyll and Hyde this year. They went on that 9-match winning streak that really propelled them. But also look at Charlotte's record. They've got 17 wins, 13 losses, and 2 draws. They are so all or nothing. And for a team that is so at times more defensive than offensive,
yes,
it's gonna be interesting how they've given up 46 goals this year, which is gonna be the second or third most in it's third or fourth most in the East. For a team that is not super attacking heavy, it's just kind of like I don't know what to expect from them. So no, we can talk all day about Atlanta being out of this. And look, Atlanta has so many questions to answer in the offseason. I have spoken multiple times about Chris Henderson is going to say the things that Chris Henderson has to say. And he's going to be professional about it. He's not going to throw guys under the bus in front of the media as the technical director. Look, they're going to turn over rocks. They're going to scrutinize everything in the offseason as well. They should, because it's been from preseason expectation to now one of the most disappointing seasons in league history for me. Based on what the preseason predictions were to where you finished. Players, manager, staff, everybody's name is on the whiteboard right now, and it's in marker, which can be erased. How you handle these last few games, if you are Atlanta, genuinely matters to me. How you fight, because I watched a team that went out last week and didn't want it as much. And I know there's been the whole, with what Ronnie said about them, and how they played and what they lacked.
Players have admitted that too. Bart said it as much. So it's not just the one
it's
side.
Not okay, and it's not okay.
No.
Look, you still, with a team that is possibly, as I'm running up against my time here, you are a team that is potentially falling off, and potentially ending up with a wooden spoon. That's not out of the question. You're still going to finish at the top of the league in attendance. You are going to have spent more money than anybody. You're probably going to spend a bunch of money in the offseason. Because I cannot imagine this team strictly running it back.
Yeah.
As it is. There's just too many issues for me. The least you can do is go out there and die with the shirt on. Is go out there and run yourself into the ground and fight for every inch of field. And it didn't feel like that last week. And of all the things that have happened this year, that one for me is the least acceptable. And that is editorialized off of me and just me. But that is where I'm at with it. That is the fact that you are getting outworked by another team that had been eliminated. Outhearted. It can't happen. And if you got guys that are consistently feeling like they're okay with that, then they can go feel like that they're okay with that somewhere else. Anyway,
Yes.
go beat LAFC and make a statement. I don't know.
Yep. You've got LAFC, and then you go to Messi and Friends, and then you finish up at DC United here on match day last.
Do something about it.
Yes. As always, thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, sure. I'll try and stay for longer next time.
Yes, and we'll see you Monday for soccer over there.
Yep.
All right, be good. Jared Smith, everybody, and he's out the door. So really quickly before we get out of here, once again, reminders. It is 103 kick, Atlanta United 2, Chattanooga FC. Pre-game at 12:30. I'll be up there at Fort Finley for you, and we'll run through decision day together. SoccerDownHere.net. Go to the Listen tab. You see the pulsating red light. That means something's going on one of our channels. Follow that red light. You'll listen to the match. Or you can go to our Mixler channel at SoccerDownHere.mixler.com. After that, it is, let's see, I think Maddie's doing Georgia State that day. And then you also have the match in Los Angeles. It'll be Mike and Jason out in Los Angeles. And it will be 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app for them as they get ready for action on your Sunday. So follow them as well. It'll be MLS After Dark out west with Atlanta United and LAFC. So you'll have that as a part of your weekend as well. So we'll be all over the place, and we'll bring it all to you. And so if it is 9 o'clock, so 8 o'clock for Five Stripes Countdown, 9:10 kick, and the full-time report after that on your Sunday. Really quickly, let me go through the Premier League matchups for you, and we'll lay everything out there. Friday night football, Bournemouth and Fulham. Bournemouth favored at the Vitality at -102. Tomorrow, early game. Leeds and Spurs. Spurs favored on the road. 10 o'clockers, you have two of them. Arsenal, big favorite at home against West Ham. Manchester United, big favorite at home against Sunderland. Sunderland, one of the biggest surprises of the season so far. Chelsea and Liverpool. Liverpool favored at a +133 at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea's a +181. Sunday's your busy day. You have Villa and Burnley. Villa favored at home, big. Everton favored at a +150. Crystal Palace a +196. Draws a +223. They're unbeaten in 19 in a row. Newcastle -169 hosting Forest. And Wolves are a dog at home to Brighton. Brighton's a +102. Wolves a +262. Brentford hosting Manchester City at the G-Tech. They are at a -156. After playing in the midweek in Champions League, Brentford is a +376. So that's your rundown of the Premier League, because then they go to the international break themselves as well. What to watch today? beIN Español simulcasting the Polish League early this morning and Liga 1 this afternoon at 2:45. FS1, Egypt and Chile is at 7. At 7 o'clock, New Zealand and Japan is at 7 o'clock on FS2. Friday night football, Bournemouth and Fulham is on USA. ESPN Deportes has Osasuna and Getafe. Gold TV, Casapia and Estoril at 3:15. Universo simulcasting the Premier League and the Egypt-Chile match. On the plus, Bundesliga this morning, Bundesliga B this afternoon, La Liga at 3, USL League 1, including Tormenta hosting Westchester, both those matches at 7 o'clock. Fox Soccer Plus, Ukraine, Paraguay at 4. Paramount Plus, Wrexham, Birmingham City at 3 in the championship. Hellas Verona, Sassuolo 2:45 in Serie A. Peacock, the U20, Ukraine, Paraguay, New Zealand, and Japan. Women, DAZN USA, Frauen Bundesliga, Eintracht Frankfurt, Carl Zeiss Jena at 12:30. Premier League, it is not in Paris at 3. English Women's Super League on the plus at 2:30. It is Manchester United and Chelsea. So that's your rundown of everything today. It's been a hell of a week. As always, thanks to all of you guys for coming in and hanging out with us as you always do. Thanks to Jarrett. Thanks to Bart for coming by today. Thanks to all the guests that we've had all week long. And we'll do it again on the weekend. We'll be in Chattanooga. We'll be in LA. We'll let you know what's going on with the Twos, let you know what's going on with Atlanta United, and be back at it on Monday to break everything down with Abe and Bart to start our week again. We'll catch up with the NPSL Regional League. That's going to happen on Tuesday, in addition to our visit from KCD, and we'll continue to roll from there. So once again, since it is a Friday, you know what that means? It means that we duck out the only way we know how to duck out. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe, and we'll catch up with you soon. Since it's the end of the show, we go to this.
The war was on. The keys on the typewriter had sharp points that kept sticking into our fingers. The dictating equipment started asking us questions, and our beepers sent electric shocks just through our bodies. strapped to the chairs, and our chairs were chained to the desks. Our pleas for justice were ignored, and the end seemed near. But we busted our slave drivers' little bitty balls. We've charged out of their brick fortress. The streets are